National Women's Day to you, and thank you for being a feminist. And he was kind of a new word to him, and so I explained to him that feminist at the basis was believing that men and women should have equal rights. And he's like, "Oh, I'm a feminist." So happy International Day to the women and all our other supporters in the belief that men and women deserve equal rights and that women should have a loud voice. And thank you for giving us this opportunity today to share our voice with you. I'm just going to bring my slides back up here. Okay, so first, a little bit about myself. I grew up in a family that valued nutrition. My parents at one point looked into buying a health food store. We had a family ND who recently retired but saw 4 generations of our family for almost 30 years. I started with a private practice in Dundas, Ontario, and then I moved to Scott and I moved to Fort Simpson, Northwest Territories, where there was surprisingly at one point 6 naturopathic doctors. We stayed there for 7 years, and both of our children lived in Fort Simpson. But when Alistair was ready to start school, we moved to Midland, and I'd never been here when we moved to Midland, but we've grown to really love it. And in Midland, I have a home-based naturopathic practice. And we're finding it like home. It's been really great. So on to today's presentation. So our first slide, if we move along there, is we're going to discuss the 7 healthy habits are building blocks of health. So first of all, we want to, and we all know this one, we want to drink water. We are 70% water, and water is our most important fluid you can put into your body. Drinking water is one of the simplest things you can do to improve your own health. And water eliminates, through our kidneys, it eliminates our waste. Our next slide is why does your body like water? Well, first of all, water helps to increase your blood volume, which carries nutrients and oxygens to our cells. Water is part of the fluid in our lymph system, which is part of our immune system. That's what our lymph system is. And as I mentioned again, it eliminates the water through the next slide talks about, does your body need water? So at one point in time, are you feeling fatigued? Do you have irritable? Or do you have a headache? Constipation, thirst? These could all be indicators of many things, but they could be related to simply as, do you need more water? The question I get is, how much water is enough? So it depends on your body size. You divide your body weight in pounds by 2, and this number equals the number of ounces you need to drink in a day. So a 160-pound person requires 80 ounces of water per day, or 10 8-ounce glasses of water. You add 1 glass of water for every hour of exercise and 2 glasses of water for each caffeinated beverages. So that can be a lot of water. Moving on to the next slide, that can be a lot of water all at once if you haven't been drinking that much water. So you just want to take it very slowly. And so what are some healthy water habits? What are some ways we can increase our water? Well, we can carry our water in a glass or stainless steel container. You can take small sips from a metal straw, drink water away from meals. And if you are drinking enough water, you'll see, how do we zest up? How do we make our water a little bit more enticing? So you might want to add lemon or lime or cucumber or a small amount of juice to make your water more palatable. Your herbal tea counts as water. And like I said, if you're just starting to increase your water consumption, try drinking 1 or 2 glasses additionally a week until you move up to your desired amount. The next healthy habit, number 2, is healthy eating and digestion. So food is your medicine, and as best as you are able, you want to eat nutritiously. And there are many arguments out there which diet is best for you. However, health and wellness experts will all continue to agree that a diet that emphasizes fresh and whole foods and minimizes processed foods is superior for your overall wellness. And when I'm a little lost in all the sciences out there and the social media that we're bombarded with, you kind of just, a simple rule is to go back to, what did your ancestors eat? We want to aim for a diverse range of fruits and vegetables. can occur in a short time frame and it can impact a long time afterwards. I'm all about treats, but just being aware of when you are having treats and make sure that they count. And also some people need to work to control their food sensitivities and intolerances so that they can have healthy eating and digestion. On the next slide, when we continue on with healthy eating and digestion, you'll see the idea that you are what you eat, which we've all heard. We've all heard that growing up. You are what you eat and absorb, meaning what your body does with the food is also very important. With a relaxed frame of mind to help with absorption, because stress does impact your digestion, and that can lead to poor gut health and indigestion, and therefore that can lead to a weakened ability for your body to absorb and utilize important nutrients. On the next slide, we'll talk about the beet test. So the beet test is, again, a way at home where you can observe your digestion. And the beet test, you eat beets and you watch for your transit time. So transit time is the time it takes for food to be eliminated from your body. So your ideal bowel transit time is about 17 hours. So that means from the time you eat your beets to the time that they are eliminated should be an average of 24 hours now, or 17 hours now. For some it's more, some it's less. And so you can take note of what you're seeing as being eliminated in your bowel movements so that you can know how long it's taking for food to go through. And moving on, improving your digestion by salivating and chewing your food. So digestion begins with thinking about, smelling, looking at food to stimulate the flow of saliva. Think of that Christmas dinner meal. It's the buildup, it's all the smells around you. And proper chewing is essential, because if we don't chew our food, then we cannot have good digestion and optimally absorb all of the good nutrients that food has to offer us. And if we are not able to absorb all the nutrients, we cannot feed ourselves optimally. And it's kind of just like a chain reaction from there. Therefore, then different biochemical reactions in our body can't happen the way we want them to. So we really want to, as best as we are able, some days it's easier than others. On our next slide, and we all are familiar with this one, healthy habit number 3 is to also deliver more oxygen to your cells and balance the nervous system. So like I said, you've noticed when you're breathing in a very relaxed way, or you know what it feels like when you're breathing in a really rapid, shallow way. And the point is, with breathing techniques, is move into that slow down breathing process so that your body enters a parasympathetic state, which is the rest and digest, rather than being in the sympathetic state. So I want us all just to take a second and check in with ourselves. Some people might want to do it on a numerical scale of like 1 to 10, how they're feeling. Some people might want to notice a certain tension area in their body. I want you to just do a little check-in, keep it in mind, and then we're going to talk about 2 different types of breaths, because there's lots of different breaths out there, and people are going to resonate with different breaths. 2 that I'm going to suggest today. The first one is the circuit breath. So what you do with the circuit breath is you find a rectangular shaped object. So picture like a window or a door frame, and you just use your gaze to go along the outside of the object. And so you kind of just follow around. You notice the diagonals joining from one side of the window to the other side, or the door frame. And you kind of just lose your breath in following the circuit of going around and crisscrossing. So that's the circuit breath. The other one is heliotropic breathing, which sounds really fancy, but all it is you breathe in, and as you breathe out, you're blinking. But while you're blinking, you're also just focusing on whatever catches your eye. So I have a little go. So the first one is, if you've chosen the circuit breath, just fine. I'm going to find a window beside me. And I'm just going to encourage everyone to follow their gaze around the outside of the window. And I'm going to follow the crisscross up, or the diagonal up and the diagonal down, circuit around, find another diagonal. There's no right or wrong way to do this. You're just kind of losing yourself in it. We'll also taking time to breathe. So if people feel like that's the one for them, continue on. Or you can try heliotropic breathing, which is breathing in, and as you breathe out, blink those eyes, and just whatever catches your gaze, just blink. For me, it was a plant. Tension release. Did your jaw feel a little looser? Did your shoulders go a little lower? Did your back relax a little bit? And as we all know, things can get a little hairy and scary, and we don't all have our perfect moments, but we always can go back to the breath. So those are just a couple breathing techniques. Our next slide is healthy habit number 4 is movement. So as you and I both know, movement's super important for our physical and mental health. And the body becomes stronger and functions more efficiently and has greater endurance when we introduce daily movement. So the scientific reason why exercise is so good and movement is so good is it's a natural stress reliever. And what it does is it uses up the extra energy that we might have converted to worry and stress. And that exercise helps to produce that happy hormone serotonin. So there's so many different exercises out there. I've listed a few: biking, yoga, dance. I'd say for myself, I love the music. And again, it just movement is lubrication for your joints. It feels good for your body, and it feels great for our minds too. The next one, we wish we were all sometimes better at this, including myself, is managing stress. So I've listed a few options here. First, on the first one you'll see there is a good night's sleep. So why lack of sleep is a factor that can contribute to stress. And why is that? It's because sleep is designed to restore. So during the night, tissues are repaired, organs may rest or finish cycles, and the brain filters the events of the day. So we find it more challenging. We can all think back to examples of this. We find it more challenging to cope, feel tired and irritable if we miss the time to repair and restore. We are definitely have become more familiar with the idea of meditation, and there's a really good free app that I've come across called Smiling Mind. They're out of Australia. All the meditations have an Australian accent, so that's pretty fun. But they also have a lot of resources out there. First of all, it's free, but they have like some questions to ask yourself. They have some like coloring pages that people might just get lost in. They have last I was on there, I think they had some baking ideas. I don't know what their recipes are like, but there's just a lot of neat resources. But the reason I bring it to your attention is that it's a free app for meditation, because some people prefer a more guided meditation. A newer word that you might see is meditation, which is just meditation or quietness before bed to achieve a better night's sleep. Another way to manage stress is to do vagus nerve stimulation. So that helps to relax the body. So maybe humming or singing, you could try, and we've all heard that sound. And that just, the reason that's relaxing is because it stimulates the vagus nerve. Deep breathing, we did some breathing exercises. One super simple one is just to exhale longer than you inhale. So if you inhale for 4, you let out for 8. Exposure to cold water also stimulates the vagus nerve, and meditation also stimulates the vagus nerve. And when all those things happen, our body relaxes. Walking, especially in nature. Walking is great, but especially if you can incorporate nature in. There's lots of research behind that, is another way to reduce stress. Routine, although that's kind of boring, it is effective, although it can be tricky right now. But a regular fulfilling routine is a good way to reduce stress, as is keeping busy. Again, can be a little bit tricky right now. But the reason that idea is effective is because it provides a positive distraction. On the next slide, we talk about managing stress by taking time for you, which as women, we're not always that awesome at. But in the fall, I was taking a course, and the chief medical officer of the Canadian College of Naturopathic Medicine, he has a special interest in mental health. And one thing he actually now prescribes and writes down on his prescription pads is he prescribes fun. He tells people to go out and have fun. And the neat thing about when you make that choice is your positive choice will have a ripple effect on others. And also, fun helps relieve the symptoms of stress by producing feel-good chemicals in the brain. So there's the science behind it, and then, if you're having a bright and sunny day, your bright and sunny day kind of ripples over to the next person. Next, the healthy habit number 6 is clean your environment. So there's a few things to keep in mind. Food choices can make your environment dirty, as in there's the dirty dozen, which is at the top of the dirty dozen. There's the strawberries, which is the most sprayed food, and then there's the clean 15, which is the avocados. So an avocado, if you were to pick a food that's sprayed, or if you were to pick a food, and the great website for this is the Environmental Working Group. They've done a lot of research. I know we're just about done here, but my last habit would be, and obviously I'm a little bit biased, is to see a naturopathic doctor. We're able to emphasize prevention and health promotion and treat the whole body and offer options to promote and restore health. There's lots of different options to help one move towards their health goal. It just rounds up all the healthy habits, the building blocks of health. And then the very last slide, I'm wishing you a happy International Women's Day. Thank you so much, Linda, and your library staff for organizing this. And I wish you all a safe and happy and healthy Women's International Day.